Jiren, a warrior who has gone through tragedy after tragedy and bloody training to achieve power beyond the very gods of his own universe. Broly, a warrior with limitless potential who has been exiled from his home planet and has been treated as a wild animal by his own father for the sole purpose of control and revenge. This infamous matchup is part of what I like to call the big three of the Dragon Ball debate topics, which consist of Cell vs Deborah, Kid Buu vs Buhan, and of course, Jiren vs Broly. Out of all these topics, I feel like this one divides the community the most. I made a poll about this exact matchup as of recently, and it was basically 50-50. So with that, and that this video won the recent video poll I did, I decided it would be time to finally make this video. We will be using the anime versions of these characters, and Broly from the Broly movie, not Superhero. Although stuff from that movie will be mentioned as some information is still relevant for this debate. With introductions out of the way, let us find out who is truly the strongest enemy in Dragon Ball Super, Jiren or Broly. Jiren has more clear-cut scaling in my opinion, so I will go over him first. Obviously, Jiren is extremely powerful and served as a benchmark for Goku both during and after the Tournament of Power. In the Superhero movie, he is still implied by Goku to be stronger than him even now, and in the tournament itself, while holding back, his aura was strong enough to overpower Blue Evolution Vegeta, Blue Kaioken Goku, and Android 17 all at the same time. But this is all basic information. Y'all already know this. What is really relevant here is how he scales to the Gods of Destruction, which has a very simple answer. He slaps all of them. Even when just going by the anime itself, Jiren is hyped up before the tournament as being a mortal that surpassed his own God of Destruction, who is even stronger than Beerus. And once he blinks away the Universe 7 Super Spirit Bomb, he states that his power exceeds the level of the Gods of Destruction, while also saying that that rumor surrounding him may have been true after all. And of course, there is a lot of promotional material and guides, saying that both him and the initial Master and Ultra Instinct Goku that he later scales over are beyond the Gods of Destruction. The guides that claim that he is on their level are mainly pre-tournament guides that base his strength off of the rumors, as they say things like, "it is said." So I wouldn't use those statements to try and lowball Jiren. If you want more context and reasoning why Jiren is stronger than the Gods of Destruction, watch this video me and my friend The Dark Knight made, as it goes into more detail about the subject. Anyway, after being overpowered by MUI Goku, he goes into a state of rage and powers up to such an extent that he actually starts overwhelming the mastered UI Goku that he was just losing to. After this, Goku ends up powering up numerous times, whether it be through Krillin motivating him or him getting a rage amp, with Jiren still being capable of swapping hands with this Goku. So Jiren with this limit-breaking form would probably stomp the Jiren that scales above the Gods of Destruction. The only real thing you can say to this is that in the Superhero movie, Vegeta makes the statement that Jiren wasn't much stronger than him or Goku, and it was how he used his power that made it seem like the gap was bigger than it really was. But there are a few issues with this. The first is that both Goku and Vegeta are implied in both the Broly and Superhero movie to still be weaker than the Gods of Destruction, who Jiren slaps. Also, like I mentioned earlier, suppressed Jiren's aura alone was enough to completely overpower Vegeta's Final Flash and Goku's Kamehameha, which massively amped their strength. So, honestly, the only way to make sense of Vegeta's statement is that he was referring to the suppressed Jiren that they were fighting. Broly's scaling, in contrast to Jiren, is very convoluted and debated upon even to this day. But before we get to him, we need to go over how strong Goku and Vegeta are in this movie, as some people claim that they have reached the level of the Gods of Destruction, or even beyond. There is some promotion material for the movie claiming that Blue Kaioken Goku is approaching the level of the Gods of Destruction, and is possibly the strongest warrior throughout the universes, which would include Jiren. But not only do these statements contradict what we are shown in the recent movies, but they also contradict each other. How can Goku be both above Jiren, who slaps the gods, but is only now approaching the level of the gods? That just doesn't make any sense. And as I stated earlier, Goku in the superhero movie, which takes place years after Superhero mind you, is still implied to be inferior to the Gods of Destruction. So they probably just exaggerated Goku's strength to help get people excited for the movie. So with those arguments out of the way, let's get into Broly himself. Even before going Super Saiyan, he is shown dominating Goku and Vegeta in their god forms, while also being able to fight on par with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, with Goku having a slight edge over him. Then when he learns of Paragus' death, that's when he finally snaps and turns into a Super Saiyan, and forces Goku and Vegeta to retreat to go fuse. Goku later makes the statement that fusion is their only option, which would imply that even if they used Blue Kaioken and Blue Evolution against Broly, it wouldn't have been enough to stop him. After fusing, Gogeta and Broly get into a long, intense battle, with them first starting off in Super Saiyan, in which Broly is actually able to give the fusion a decent fight, and is only when Gogeta turns blue in which the tables completely flip into Gogeta's favor. But even then, Broly still takes a bunch of hits from him before finally going down. After the battle is over and Broly is sent back to planet Vampa, Goku then uses instant transmission to help out Broly, Chilai, and Lemo, and it is there where he makes the statement that Broly might even be stronger than Beerus. The English subtitles for the movie translate the word used here as probably, which means more than likely, but native Japanese speakers like Ken Ziro have gone out and said that maybe would better fit in context. Now, this very obviously raises a problem for Broly, considering even base Jiren is stronger than Beerus pretty blatantly, so if Broly isn't even for sure on that level, then that would imply Jiren is stronger than Broly. People often try and link Goku's uncertainty here to the idea that he doesn't know Beerus' full power, but not only is this untrue, as Goku literally witnessed a full power battle between Beerus and Champa in the baseball episode, but for Goku to make this statement about Beerus at all, he would still at least have to have some perception of how strong Beerus is, which could only really come from Whis' statement about Jiren surpassing the Gods of Destruction. Which raises the question, if Goku thinks Broly is stronger than Jiren, who he knows is above Beerus, why would there be so much uncertainty behind his statement? It just doesn't make any sense, and would still result in Jiren, even without his limit-breaking state, being comparable to or just flat out above Broly. Now, the main counter-argument for people supporting Broly is that he is labeled as the strongest enemy in multiple different sources. Now, while one could argue that Jiren isn't an enemy, that isn't even needed, as the statements could be including a controlled Broly. What do I mean? Well, the Broly we see in the movie isn't actually at full power, and we know this based upon the fact that he's blatantly lacking in 2 of the 3 components of Ki, that being Yu-Ki, which is courage, and Sho-Ki, which is right-mindedness. But even ignoring this, it is also blatantly implied in both the movie itself by Frieza and in a Psycho Jump that him going berserk nerfs him significantly. The previously mentioned Psycho Jump actually just straight up says he would have beaten Gogeta had he been capable of controlling his power. So not only is this hypothetical controlled Broly interpretation consistent, as it's hyped up in the movie itself as well as promotion material, but it also makes him being Beerus or base Jiren level not really a contradiction. So with that in mind, I think it's pretty obvious by this point that I think Jiren, at least in his limit breaking state, is putting Broly in a wheelchair. Which I know people are going to be raging in my comment section for saying that, but it is what I genuinely think. A more fair matchup in my opinion would be Jiren versus Gogeta rather than Broly. But that might not even be as one-sided as you may think. which I may elaborate on in a future video. But with that all out of the way, I think that marks the end of this video. As usual, if you have any questions or if you disagree on what I had to say, which I'm sure a lot of you did, then just let me know in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But until then guys, I'll see you in the next video. Later!